If you think true love only exists in fairy tales, then keep watching this video. Hey, it's your girl Isha here, Carnivalista in Chief of the Carnivalista Lifestyle, and I'm a travel consultant who works with professional Black women who take care of everybody else and would like to put themselves at the top of their list, but society is telling them they should be at the bottom of that list. And today I am talking about fairy tales. Now, I am a huge fairy tale lover. When you were little, did you love a good fairy tale like me? I mean, honestly, the rescue and the white horse and the Prince Charming, being a princess, living in a castle. I ate that all up when I was younger and when I was a little girl. However, as I got older, as an older child and as a teenager, quickly it began to come to light, or I began to realize that real life was not a fairy tale. Whether it was dealing with sexual abuse when I was very, very young, at a very young age, and trying to make sense of all of that, and then emotional abuse as I became a teenager because I was so hard on myself and very super self-critical. It eventually became very, very evident that real life was not a fairy tale, and I completely stopped believing in fairy tales. It came to the point where I was so negative with myself and negative with others that it really became quite toxic. And it was an environment, my internal state was an environment that was definitely no walk in the park, no fairy tale at all. So here's the thing. With all of that being said, that I want you to know today, if you really, really, really desire the fairy tale, it's already yours. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that you don't have to ask for anybody's permission. You don't have to sacrifice yourself for it to get that fairy tale. It really is already yours. And how you get around to really believing and unleashing that it is yours is by releasing your inner fairy godmother. You have your own inner fairy godmother, your own inner belief that fairy tales are real. And what you have to do is tap into that inner fairy godmother. And I'll tell you a secret. The top 3% in this world who are happy, healthy, and wealthy, they have all tapped into that inner fairy godmother, okay? I know that for sure. And that is what separates you from them, that you have not tapped into your inner fairy godmother yet. And how you start tapping into that inner fairy godmother is by changing your mindset, your belief that you can have the fairy tale, that you can do whatever you want to do to change your life. And part of getting your fairy tale to come to life is to start acting as if you already have what it is that you really, really desire. Part of that is confidence, part of that is courage, part of that is patience, but all of it is acting as if you already have what you really and truly desire. When you have the confidence to make different choices in your life, to change it, the world has absolutely no choice but to respond to you in kind. When you start to step out and take those baby steps positively to create your own fairy tale where you are happy, healthy, and wealthy, the world has absolutely no choice but to respond. Now, let me give you a personal example from my own experience. When I started on my self-love journey, as I mentioned before, coming out of teenagehood into early adulthood as someone who was very, very negative, I believe my circle at the time was very negative as well. So I really didn't know another way to operate. So I was a very, very, very negative person, and nothing was possible. Everyone was to blame for all of my problems. And one of the books that I found at that time was In the Meantime by Iyanla Vanzant, and quickly recognized by behavior as what she describes as basement behavior. And the way to get out of the basement is to start taking responsibility for your own actions. So I started doing that. As things came up, if things didn't go my way, instead of blaming others, I began to think of my part in what happened. What could I have done differently? What could have gone differently? And if there was absolutely nothing that I could have done for it to go differently, then so be it. But in starting to take responsibility for my actions, I was acting as if I was a responsible person. I was acting as if I was someone who really cared about others and cared about myself, because I cared enough about myself to really look at my role in any situation and be okay with that and not beat myself up for that, and be brave enough to stand up and take responsibility for everything that was happening in my life. Another way that I began to act as if, I stopped blaming and criticizing and speaking negatively of others. That was just it used to be a constant stream of criticism of what would come out of my mouth and into wherever, talking, having a conversation with somebody. It was just a constant stream of criticism. And I caught myself as the thought was forming of the negative thing or the critical thing that was coming out of my mouth, and I stopped it. I also stopped speaking of what I did not want to happen in my life and started speaking of what I wanted to happen in my life. So if I wanted a house, why would I speak as if I didn't have it? Part of acting as if is being very, very aware of the words that are coming out of your mouth and learning how to use those words differently, learning how to change your thoughts and make them completely different from what you would normally think or what you would normally say. One of the things that I started saying to myself was, especially around money, because even though I had a really great job, I was surrounded in my environment. The conversation around money was that we're broke. We always broke. So I literally stopped saying that about myself, about my bank account, about the things that I was doing. If I was purchasing something, I would consciously think and reaffirm to myself that there is a lot more money where this came from. I am not broke, And even the word broke, I just completely removed it from my vocabulary and started thinking abundant thoughts. So those are just a few of the things that I did in my own personal experience that you may want to incorporate into your own life as you start to act as if. Now, if you feel you need a little bit more help, a little bit more of a push, and maybe some really concrete steps that you can take towards acting as if, then I have a free training for you. It's called 3 Keys to Living a Life of More, and it takes you through the 3 keys that I implemented in my own life to having more abundance, more joy, more love, more just period in my life. They are 3 very, very simple steps. You will watch a super short, quick video that is the training, and there is an accompanying checklist for you to jot down your thoughts, jot down your takeaways, and what are your baby steps going to be to get towards a life of more. Because I tell you, the baby steps is where it's at. It's not about the grand gestures, because sometimes you almost set yourself up for failure when you think, I need to do a big thing and I need to step out on faith. And then it doesn't go exactly the way that you want and you're back at square one again. But the baby steps, things that are immediately doable, easily actionable for you, and you can start doing them tomorrow, that is where more comes. That is what acting as if is. They're not big changes. They are baby steps that where you act as if you are or you are located where you really, really want to be. So the link is in the description below for you to get your free training and checklist of 3 keys to living a life of more. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it inspires you to start acting as if and bring those little baby steps to bring real change into your life. Definitely like, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with someone who you think needs to hear this today. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.